Fire in the hole! Let's cook some chili. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome once again to my barbecue grill. I've got my cast iron pot on the fire. I need to get a pair of gloves going over here in case I need to move the pot. It's getting hot. And what we're going to make for you today is some Cincinnati style chili. Now, before we even start, I got to tell you, Cincinnati style chili is not for everyone. And if you come from Texas, or you're used to having chili Colorado, or you're used to having Texas chili, or you like some other kind of chili, maybe New York style chili, I don't know. I gotta tell you, if you know, you know, people in Cincinnati like this style of chili, and I'm making it, I have an ulterior reason for making this, which you'll see in a little while. But yeah, this is what you get at a place called Skyline Chili. You may be familiar with it. It's a chain. They even have them down here in South Florida. And it's a good chili. It's not traditional chili, okay, in any sense of the word. It's very it's kind of weird, actually, to be honest with you. But anyway, I got about 2 pounds of ground beef. I've got my traditional chili seasonings, and then I got over here the Cincinnati seasonings, which are you know, out of the ordinary. I've got some Rotel tomatoes and some fire roasted tomatoes, and a can of tomato paste and some onion that I keep cut up in my refrigerator. And that's all that goes into this chili. The seasonings, the meat, the tomatoes, and that's it. That's it. Some onions, like I said. And this chili comes out kind of soupy and loose. And that's okay, because it's good for one thing, in my opinion, and you'll see at the end of the video what I'm going to do with it. But anyway, let's get to making this. We got to get our pot on the fire, get it hot, and start cooking this down. So bear with me while we make some Cincinnati style chili. Alright, my cast iron pot is on the fire getting hot. Now normally when you make chili, the first thing you'd put in is maybe some bacon or oil or something. The first thing that goes into the Cincinnati chili is tomato paste. A can of tomato paste into the hot pot. It's not quite hot enough yet, but it's hot. A can of tomato paste. And then, to be frugal, we're going to get all the tomato paste out of there. And then we're going to put some water, which I didn't open the water, which I should have done. My mistake. Let's open the water. There we go. And fill up the can with some water to get the rest of that tomato paste out of the can. We'll swish that around in there a little bit. And drop that in the pot. Okay, that's the tomato paste. I got my special spoon that my cousin got me so that it doesn't make any noise in this cast iron pot. So we've got the tomato paste and water in the pot. Now you're thinking, why didn't you brown the beef off first? Well, that's not how you make Cincinnati style chili. You don't brown the beef first. You put the tomato paste in first. Next comes some fire roasted diced tomatoes in the pot. A can of that. And a can of Rotel Fire Roasted diced tomato or green chilies. Now this is not strictly Cincinnati style, but because I like it, I'm putting that in there. Dump these cans. Now we got something going on in here. Basically, we've got a tomato soup right here. It's kind of silly, I know, but this is Cincinnati style chili. So far we've got no veggies in there except tomatoes and water. You notice we put a can of water so far. We might wind up putting even more water in there. I hope not, but you never know. You never know. This is going to be a loose chili. Got to get my implement over here. Okay. I will let that tomatoes cook a little minute, and I'll bring you right back, so stay tuned. Alright, we're back. The tomatoes are bubbling away in there. We're going to put 2 pounds of ground beef in there, and we have our implement. This is the implement of death. If you don't have one of these, you can use a potato masher. But we got to get that ground beef cut up. You can't have any clumps of ground beef in this chili. It's got to be completely homogenized into the tomato paste. So what we've basically done is we haven't browned the meat. What we're doing is boiling it in tomatoes. So it's going to be very tomatoey, a very tomatoey chili right here. Let me tell you what. And that fire is hot. I got to move that pot a little bit away from the fire because it's really hot. Let me move that right now before I think of it. Stay tuned while I move my pot. Okay, get the pot off the hottest part of the fire. And we're breaking up this, using this implement. I don't know what you call this thing. We're using the implement to break up the beef. We want this to be a very smooth and kind of a soupy, tomatoey, which you can see so far, it's what it is. It looks like tomato soup with ground beef in it. We didn't brown the beef, which is kind of weird. And we're going to get that, yeah, it's starting to look like Chicago chili already, but we got some more stuff to put in here. Some more crap to put in here. Just give me a minute to get this homogenized up like it's supposed to be. There you go. That's what it's supposed to look like. Right there. See that? Now that doesn't look like any chili you've ever had, does it? Probably not. If you've not had Cincinnati style chili, then you don't know what this is. Okay, so far we've got our nice soupy mix of meat in there. We're going to throw in some onions. About a whole onion that's been diced. Saving some out for my special purpose later. Get those onions in there, get them cooking. That's going to give some flavor to the chili. Now we haven't put any seasonings in there yet, just onion, tomato, onion, and meat, and some water. And you see how smooth that is? That's perfect. That's just how you want it. Okay, let's get that cooking. Now let's put our traditional chili seasonings in there. Okay, you're not going to make chili without chili powder, right? So we want about a tablespoon of chili powder in there. About a tablespoon of chili powder. Maybe, let's call it 2 tablespoons of chili powder. You want some chili powder in there because this is, after all, chili, right? Sort of. Chili powder. Then we have some paprika. And don't worry, the whole recipe will be in the description. About a tablespoon of paprika. That will bring some flavor and some color to our chili. Very nice, paprika. Then we have some cumin. Cumin goes in chili because it gives it a nice smoky flavor. And again, about a tablespoon of cumin in there. Good stuff. And I've got some, oh, that smells so good, that cumin. I've got some SPG that I'm going to throw in there. Let's see. About a tablespoon of salt, pepper, and garlic. You could also add garlic to this if you wanted to. They're not against that, but they don't really call for it. So salt, pepper, and garlic, about a tablespoon of that SPG. There we go. Let's give that a mix. It smells good now. That cumin really brought some flavor to this. So what do we got now? A soupy looking beef that's boiling in tomato paste and boiling in tomato soup kind of stuff. Yeah, this is not for everyone. I told you at the beginning of the video that Cincinnati style chili is not for everyone. My wife likes it, believe it or not. She is weird with a beard, let me tell you what. Okay, now we have to put in the, I gotta clean my spoon off in there. Get my spoon cleaned off a little bit. It's starting to cook. It smells good, but it's not done yet. Now, here's a weird ingredient. Cloves. When's the last time you saw cloves in anything? You put cloves in I don't know, some things you bake? We're gonna put a teaspoon of cloves in there. Ground cloves. That goes in the Cincinnati style chili. Here's probably the weirdest ingredient. Cocoa. We need a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons. I'm going to call it 2 teaspoons of cocoa powder. That's a heaping teaspoon of cocoa powder that we're putting in there. Maybe a touch more. Let's call it 2 teaspoons of cocoa powder. And probably the weirdest ingredient of all for chili, anyway, get the top off of this. Should have took all these tops off before I started, shouldn't I? Is cinnamon. A heaping teaspoon of cinnamon goes in your Cincinnati style chili. Now, you can call that Cincinnati style chili. And that's what it's supposed to look like. And that's what it's supposed to smell like. Cloves. You can smell the cloves. You can smell the cinnamon. And the cocoa is bringing another, I don't know how to say it, another dimension to this chili. And you see how soupy it is. I'm gonna let it cook a while. That's all the ingredients of Cincinnati style chili. And this is essentially done. It just has to cook a while. And only about an hour, and it's ready to serve. How's that look? It's very smooth. I don't know, I saw something in there that didn't look right. A piece of tomato, I think. Tomato skin, possibly? Yeah. That just has to simmer for about an hour. Want to get a better look at that? Let's move a little closer. How's that look? That's your Cincinnati style chili. We're gonna let that bubble and squeak in there. Let it cook. Keep stirring it. Because I'm cooking on a grill, you know, I have uneven heating. All the heat's on the side with charcoal. I can't put it directly over the charcoal, it'll get too hot. And I just want to simmer it. I don't want it to boil, if possible. But there we go. And the meat is cooking. It didn't get browned at all. It's cooking in the tomatoes. So you got a real tomatoey. See the consistency of that? See what that looks like? What's that look good for? I'll show you in a minute. All right, that's got to cook for about an hour. So we're gonna let that go for about an hour. Let that cook. And my wife's gonna have some in a plate, but I'm gonna fix mine in a special way. So stay tuned and I'll show you what I'm talking about. My Cincinnati style chili is done. Here's the only reason to make Cincinnati style chili. I got myself a nice Costco dog here. And we're gonna throw it out. Let's open this bag here first before I get ahead of myself. Get this bag of cheese open. Oh yeah, got the cheese going on, baby. And we're gonna get some of that Cincinnati chili on my dog. I've already got some mustard on there. Oh baby, this is what they call in Cincinnati a coney. A coney in Cincinnati. You got your Cincinnati style chili on a dog. Gonna put some onions on that, raw onions, of course, and a whole bunch of cheese. And when you go to like Skyline Chili, they put an insane amount of cheese on their dogs. Let me tell you what. In fact, they put so much cheese that you can't even see the chili underneath it all. And I wanted to make that the thumbnail of this video, but I'm gonna plate my wife up some of this chili. She likes to eat it just as it is. I'm gonna let that sit there a minute, let that cheese get a little melty. I'm gonna plate my wife up. I wonder if I should make that a thumbnail out of that. Maybe I should. You can't even see the chili. All you can see is cheese. But that's the only reason I made Cincinnati style chili, is to make a coney. A Cincinnati style coney. So let me get my wife some plated up and take a picture of hers, and I'll get some beer out here, and I'll attempt to put some of this dog in my mouth. So stay tuned. Meine Damen und Herren, the Frosty Root Boy mug. And here's today's beer, Lagunitas IPA, India Pale Ale. I don't think they know anything about this in Cincinnati, but it is a good beer that I like a lot. So I'm gonna have this with my coney dog. I'm gonna pour that out best I can without making a mess and over foam. Oh yeah, I got it done. I got it done. Look at that. A good pour. Lagunitas IPA. I already know this is a good beer. Let's quaff the froth off it. Ah, nothing like that first swig of beer after you've been making chili all morning. Now this thing is, I don't think I can get it in my mouth or pick it up and eat it. I think I'm gonna have to cut a piece of it off with a knife and try to jam that in my mouth. And let me turn the camera around and you can watch a fat man eat. So stay tuned. Yeah, I had to cut a piece of that off. I'll show you. Isn't that beautiful? That's a coney. I had to cut a piece of it off because there's no way you could handle that thing and get it in your mouth. This is what you came here for, to watch a fat guy eat, right? Oh man, I can't wait to get this in my mouth. Oh, that's the stuff right there. Oh man. Chewing. If you've ever been to Skyline Chili, that tastes exactly like it. Exactly. Chef's kiss. Drink a beer. Ah. So, you know, the weatherman promised us a cold snap, which we didn't get. It's 80 degrees here today, so it's really not chili eating weather. My old lady got her bowl of chili. She's in there scarfing it right now. And I'm gonna eat my coney. It's good, it's really good. And it tastes exactly like Skyline chili. I gotta tell you. Try this recipe. If you wanna try Cincinnati style chili, this is the perfect recipe for it. It's very simple, very easy to make, and it's very satisfying. It's good on a hot dog, I gotta tell you. Good on a hot dog. Anyway, babies, you know what I always say. I always say the same thing. I always say, if you like this crap, please subscribe. Don't bother. Nobody's watching. I'm getting less than 100 views on my videos these days. It's kind of sad. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm still having fun. I'm still eating good food. You know, we're rocking right along. I'm not going to stop. I'm not quitting. I can't wait to devour the rest of this coney. Inappropriately named hot dog, coney. What's going on with my camera? What's the matter? Won't focus? Okay. Anyway, yeah. Oh, I gotta send you to somebody. If you like this crap, please subscribe. If you don't, the iCard. Go check out this dude. I think his name is Sunny, because he says, in the beginning of his videos, he says, this is Sunny in the South. And I think his name is Sunny. I don't know. I gotta ask him. This dude, this regular folks food, you check him out in the iCard. He is cooking up some master chef stuff. He's down there in Tennessee somewhere, and I'll tell you what, he is a master cook, that guy. I bet he could whip up some Tennessee or Cincinnati chili, but he probably wouldn't want any. Not many people would, I'll tell you. It's not for everyone. You know, if you use the Texas chili and you like beans in your chili, quit it. What's going on with this thing? It's not focusing. Anyway, that's my video. We'll see you next week. Hey, I might have an announcement for you. I might be making some Wednesday videos of just me talking. I'm calling it Root Boys Restaurants. I'm going to talk about some local restaurants and some goings on around town. And you might like it. You might like it. Tune in on Wednesdays to check that out. Starting next week, I think. If I can get to it. I can't seem to find the time to do anything anymore. But anyway, that's my video, babies. We'll see you next week. Bye!